Welcome to the 2025 Future Texas Business Awards Luncheon. By far the most impactful event the Texas Business Hall of Fame hosts all year outside of our induction dinner. I am Meredith Walker. I'm the Executive Director at the Texas Business Hall of Fame, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Thank you. We are so honored to be welcoming our 35 award recipients to the Texas Business Hall of Fame family, so it's so good to see you all today. This luncheon is often the part of our induction day that our alumni and that our legends remember the most. There's a reason for that. It's because this event is really where it all comes together and where the Texas Business Hall of Fame mission comes alive. It's where the entrepreneurs of tomorrow get to connect with the trailblazers who have had an indelible mark on their own industry and countless others. Tonight, we're going to honor legacies. But today, this afternoon, this morning, is about the future. The future Texas entrepreneur who we hope will leave here inspired to build their company even better and emulate the example of the prestigious business leaders we honor on our stage each year. Business leaders who have made the conscious decision to embrace their success as a responsibility to help others. So I am super excited to tell you that today we're honoring these up-and-coming entrepreneurs by granting them over $500,000. And we're granting that to entrepreneurs who we will believe will do just that, embrace their success as a responsibility to help others. So we're so proud to have you here today once again. I'd like to encourage everyone to look at their program, take a look at the bios of the business leaders and entrepreneurs in it. I assure you, you will be wowed. In these stories, you will find grit. You will find determination. You will find a refusal to accept the status quo. You will find a unique kind of curiosity, not the kind of curiosity that doesn't just ask questions, but pursues very actively the answers to those questions. We need these individuals founding companies in our state. We need them employing us. And we need them engaged in our community. Their optimism in the room today is tangible, and I feel like I have the best job in the world because it's such a gift to be with you all and to feel that energy. Thank you. Now, before we begin our luncheon program, I want to extend a very heartfelt thanks to Bank of Texas. This is the second year in a row they've sponsored this event. We're not only grateful for their financial support, but they are wonderful partners and friends. And we are so pleased to have Natalie Garza, their Houston market CEO, here with us today. If you all could help me thank Bank of Texas and give Natalie a warm welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Bank of Texas, I want to say how honored we are to be a part of today's luncheon, celebrating the outstanding entrepreneurs in this room. At Bank of Texas, our mission is to help individuals, families, and businesses build a better financial future. We work hand in hand with our clients to achieve long-term success, and we're committed to creating a positive impact in the communities we serve. This makes our partnership with Texas Business Hall of Fame such a natural fit. Like TBHF, we believe in the power of leadership, entrepreneurship, and community service to transform lives. TBHF's mission to inspire future generations of Texans and to empower visionary leaders aligns perfectly with our own values of fostering growth and making a lasting difference in our state. Together, we are investing in the future of Texas by supporting those who exemplify entrepreneurial spirit and dedication to their communities. We are thrilled to be here with all of you today, recognizing the next wave of business leaders who will continue shaping our state and beyond. Thank you, and congratulations to all of the honorees. Before today's program begins, I would like to call upon Larissa Moon, TBHF Director and Chairman-elect for 2026, to deliver the invocation.
There is so much excitement in the room. If I could ask everybody just to take a collective breath with me and bow your heads, please. Today, we honor the remarkable achievements of our awardees. Their dedication and success reminds us of the extraordinary potential within each individual. We celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and its power to transform lives and communities. With gratitude, we acknowledge the meal before us, those who prepared it, and everyone gathered here. We appreciate the abundance in our lives, the grace that sustains us, and our shared commitment to a higher purpose. May this occasion inspire us to pursue excellence, embrace new possibilities, and make a meaningful impact in our world. Amen.
Okay, thank you so much, Larissa. What a lovely prayer. In addition to our award recipients today, we're honored to welcome our 2025 inductees. Our chair, Amanda Brock, will be introducing them more formally when it comes time for our panel, but I'd like to recognize them briefly right now. From Dallas, the global investment guru, Ken Fisher, founder of Fisher Investments. Ken, thank you for being here. From San Antonio, the woman who made sunscreen an everyday affair and made us feel good, look good wearing it, Holly Thagard, the founder of Supergroup. Holly. From Houston, Rich Kinder, co-founder of the pipeline giant Kinder Morgan. Rich and Nancy, thanks for being here. Restaurateur and industry pioneer, Chris Pappas, co-founder of Pappas Restaurants. Chris, thank you for being here. And last but not least, our energy giants, Gary Peterson, Marty Phillips, and Bob Zorick, co-founders of NCAP. Thank you for being here, guys. Our Veteran and Scholar Awards would not be possible without the close engagement of our Hall of Fame directors, who are involved at every level of our selection process to make sure we engage the very best and brightest business minds. Thank you to our directors who are all here today, and thank you to our chairman, Amanda Brock, for her tireless dedication to this organization. Thank you, Amanda. And I would be very remiss in not recognizing the Texas Business Hall of Fame legends in the audience today. They play such a critical role in making these awards mean something and making our awards so special for the recipients for a lifetime. Thank you so much for your engagement. And when I call your name, if you could just stand so we could recognize you briefly. First, Charlie Amato and Gary Dudley, the co-founders of SWBC. Lucy Billingsley, the co-founder of Billingsley Company. Lucy. Ernie Cockerell, founder of Cockerell Interest. Matt Gorgeous, former CEO of Valley International Food Storage. Is Matt here? Yes, thank you. Kathy Hildreth, founder of M1 Support Services. Paul Hobby, founder of Genesis Park. Walter Johnson, founder of Amagi Bank. David Miller, co-founder of NCAP. Richard Weekley, co-founder of David Weekley Homes. And last but not least, Graham Weston, co-founder of Rackspace. Thank you so much for being here. Now I'd like to invite everyone to please enjoy your lunch. We'll be back shortly to begin our program. Thanks a bunch. Hello, everyone. I think we're going to get started again. Before we start the awards section of our luncheon, I owe an apology to one of my favorite people. There is a legend here joining us, Doug Hawthorne. Doug, will you please stand up, who I somehow skipped over? I'm going to blame the teleprompter. Doug, thank you for being here. Okay, now, I hope everyone's enjoyed their lunch. It's my pleasure to invite the Vice President of our awards program, Jessica Whitaker Thorne, to the podium to tell us a little bit more about the scope of our awards program this year. And Jessica is the founder of Estes Thorne Ewing and Payne Law Firm in Dallas. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Okay, it's almost afternoon, so I'm going to say good afternoon. Thank you, Meredith. I'm very excited to be with all of you today as we get to honor the awards recipients, the Scholar Awards recipients today at this lunch. I want to tell you a little bit about how we got here. The Future Texas Business Legend program started in 1986 with the modest goal of giving scholarships in the amount of $1,000 to a few select business students from a few select universities across the state. Today, 39 years later, we are one of the most respected entrepreneurial awards programs in the state of Texas. In fact, today, we are giving out 35 awards. 20 of those are going to Scholar Awards for college students. We also are honoring and recognizing today those that are C-suite leaders. We also have expanded into the intellectual and developmental disabilities space. We're recognizing business educators and high school entrepreneurs. We also today are recognizing 5 veterans who are also receiving our awards for scholarship. Those veterans are going to be honored tonight at the dinner, but I'm going to call their names now. They're all going to stand up, and we're going to honor them today for being here. So John Albers, John Elmore, Brad Harrison, Joseph Kopser, and Jake Newbold. All of our awardees are receiving scholarships or cash of between $2,000 and $20,000 today to help them with the startup costs that come with that very real sense of giving up everything or risking everything to start your own business. In addition to the cash, they also are receiving a lifetime membership to the Texas Business Hall of Fame Foundation's network and opportunities to invest and interact with business legends and people that put their community high on that priority list as high as their business sense. So congratulations to all of you. I want to thank our legends, our directors, and our alumni who have given of their time this year to interview and select the award recipients. The program could not happen without their hours of dedication. I also want to recognize and say thank you to all the university employees who are in the audience with us today, because if we didn't have your support, we couldn't find that next generation of business leader, and so thank you very much for being here. This year, 5 of our awards are new, and so I want to announce what those 5 awards are. Get ready, because I'm about to say the words Future Texas Business Legend a whole bunch of times, and I hope I get it all right. First, we have the Future Texas Business Legend Directors Award, which this year is being sponsored by Amanda and Robert Brock, and will go to a student from one of our partner universities. Next is the Morton H. Meyerson Future Texas Business Legend Award, which will be awarded to a student from the University of Texas at Austin. The Gary R. Peterson Future Texas Business Legend, I knew I'd mess it up, Future Texas Business Legend Award for a student at Texas Tech University. The Future Texas Business Legend Scholar of Exceptional Valiance Award, which is for an entrepreneur in higher education who has overcome uniquely challenging circumstances in their entrepreneurial journey. This award is being donated anonymously by one of our former scholars who faced some challenges in their journey and they wanted to give back. We also have the Zurich Family Foundation First in Family Award, which is for a student at also one of our partner universities. So thank you everyone for those new awards this year. Finally, I want to thank everyone in this room for your participation and for being here. Without all of you, we could not make these awards possible, and we could not honor the scholars and give them the recognition that they so deserve. So thank everyone in this room for your generosity. We really appreciate you. It is my pleasure to now introduce and ask to come to the stage the 2025 Texas Business Hall of Fame Foundation Chair, Amanda Brock, who is the co-CEO of Solaris Energy Infrastructure, and the 2025 Director and Vice President of our Foundation Alumni Association, Larry Hanrahan, who is the Principal and National Leader of Scout Strategy. They will introduce you to our Scholar Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. As our inductees make their way to the stage, I would like to present our 2025 Future Texas Business Legend Award class. First, let me present our statewide award recipients. First, Luis Montero, the Chairman's Award. Jasmine Cornell, the Valiance Award. Ayudehi Daramola, the Future Executive Leader of Distinction Award. Sean Finney, the Innovative Leadership Award. And last but not least, Kaylin Rubendinsir, the Empathy and Innovation Award. Please join me in a big round of applause. You know, as we know, behind every great entrepreneur is a teacher who sparked their curiosity, challenged them to think bigger. And here are this year's High School Teacher Award recipients. First, Michelle Moore from San Antonio. And Lee Geffert from Dallas. And now, this year's Higher Education and High School Award recipients. Pranuthi Binji, Texas Tech University. Reese Bookout, the University of San Antonio. Craig Bretlinger, Baylor University. Joseph Cody, Texas A&M University. Emiliana Escobar, the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Clara Guerrero, St. Mary's University. Elias Hansen, Trinity University. Candace Jones, Lamar University. Scott Ludwig, the University of Texas at Arlington. Caroline Luther, Southern Methodist University. Cora Monsiváis, Dallas Baptist University. Arsalan Moshizadeh, the University of Dallas. Graham Preston, Texas State University. Iman Shalafea, the University of Texas at Austin. Miguel Salinas, the University of Texas at San Antonio. Ashley Sawtell, Sam Houston State University. Davian Surna, University of North Texas. Tyler Strothman, Rice University. Yvonne Tong, the University of Texas at Dallas. Zach Traylor, the University of Houston. Forrest Williams, Texas Christian University. And also, Grayudi Hutchinson, one of our high school awardees. And last, but certainly not least, Hudson Pietzek, our other distinguished high school awardee. Please join me in another big round of applause for all of our 2025 awardees. You know, in closing, just a few, very few, remarkable statistics about our awardee group this year. 90% of this year's awardees are founders, and 70% of those started 2 or more businesses already in their young careers. Even more impressive, almost 30% of those businesses are earning over $1 million annually, and together they employ more than 2,000 people. Again, please help me congratulate this impressive group one last time, spurring on the economy of Texas. Thank you very much. And next, Amanda Brock will be moderating what promises to be a fascinating Q&A between the recipients and our 2025 inductees. Amanda?
So again, welcome everybody, and congratulations to all of the people who received their awards today. We're thrilled to have you. It was a great class and just very, very excited to be here. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our panel discussion, a discussion that has always been a hallmark of the Grant Awards program since it began in 1984. That was a long time ago. I feel very fortunate to be joined on stage now by our 2025 amazing Hall of Fame inductees. So I invite you to come up in no order of where you want to sit. And as they join us, let me again remind people who are going to be inducted tonight. Ken Fisher, making his way on now, visionary global investment pioneer. Rich Kinder, respected, admired partner in U.S. energy infrastructure with his partner, Bill Morgan, who will not be with us at lunch, but will be with us tonight. We also have Chris and Harris Pappas, hospitality trailblazers. Both will be with us tonight. And then, I look at this and there are old friends and some new friends, but some really old friends. Gary Peterson, and I don't necessarily mean you, Gary, but Gary Peterson, Marty Phillips, Bill Zorick, pioneering providers of energy growth capital. And of course, my new friend here, Holly Thaggart, lifestyle disruptor, really nice person, and obviously a skincare innovator. And we are thrilled to have everybody on the stage, and we are looking forward to their insights. And so the way this has worked in the past and the way this is going to work today is we take questions from our award recipients. They have been identified. We have had some episodes in the past where questions were asked that we wished hadn't. So we manage it just a little bit better these days. So when we call on you, we ask you to just state your name, your company name, the award you got, or the university that you are from. And so with that, we will begin the questions. And as the panelists, not everybody has to answer everyone. But if you want to, we would love that. Pass the mics. There are a couple of mics there, so pass the mics and feel free to answer. If you don't, I might ask you to answer, depending on the question. And then we'll go through this, and hopefully we will get to the last question, which actually is my favorite, and there's some great questions. So with that, we are going to start with our first question. So, first of all, let me say who you are. So our first question is going to come from Clara Guerrero.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Clara Guerrero with Clara Casino Marketing. And my question to the panel is this. Oh, by the way, I'm from St. Mary's University. What's a guiding principle or mindset that you've relied on to navigate the ups and downs of building and leading your business?
So guiding principles that have led you to the success that you've had. Who would like to start?
I'll jump in. So my guiding principles can be summed up in 2 words: clever and thoughtful. And I think that if everything you do ladders up to those 2 words, good things happen. And I think, being clever is a nod to how you gift people, how you everything you do. And with that comes, again, thoughtful, clever and thoughtful. I don't know what you gentlemen would say, but I think if you can put those at the core and the foundation of everything and every decision that you're making, good things happen.
I'll go next. I think staying focused on your objective is very important, and then really treating others as you want to be treated. I think if you stick with those 2 things, you can be successful.
I agree with that, but he went to the University of California, Santa Barbara, and then Thunderbird.
What does that mean, Gary?
That's an inside joke from Texas Tech.
So I guess I'll chime in. So I've always wanted to focus on never yet done things. And I think guiding principle is, what are you doing your competitors aren't doing yet, which means you do it, you got to force them to follow you. I think that's about the most important thing you can do in business.
Well, I would add that it's very important that you assemble the right people around you. And my saying is, there's no limit to what can be accomplished if you don't care who gets the credit. And I think too many people in our position want to take all the credit for themselves, and that's just absolute baloney. You've got to give credit to the people around you if you want to build a great organization.
I think those are all, important values. I would add to them hard work and integrity. At NCAP, I don't think we've ever thought we were the smartest guys on the planet, but we outworked everybody, and it led to a lot of success. And if people can't trust you, you don't have a chance at success. So you've got to have that component in your business.
Yeah, Amanda, I think the same thing. I think that work ethic is super important. And many times we could have failed, and we kept working hard, and we ended up winning. So I don't think you can emphasize work ethic enough.
In hospitality, we have to serve people, and we have to find people that they truly enjoy serving people and hearing that somebody had a wonderful experience in what you're doing, and just building a fabulous team around you that believes that as their mission. and then to be able to serve every meal to the best extent they have in this whole big company as you grow. When it's easy when you start out with one restaurant. How do you do it at 10, 20, 30, or 100? How do you extend that family to that large group? And I think that's what has allowed our little company that we started out with to grow where it is today, because we've built that team that believes in it and can execute it across the country.
Thank you all, and I think you get struck by the fact that there's no big special secret sauce. I mean, it comes down to just basic, fundamental, human integrity and culture, and then how you treat others. So let's go to the next question. So Michelle Moore.
Hi, Michelle Moore, a teacher from San Antonio, Texas. My question, reflecting on each of your respective journeys, what is one character trait that you had to consciously develop in yourself that didn't come naturally but proved to be absolutely essential in your journeys?
I'll start. Doing things like this.
You're not the only one up there who wants to answer that the same way.
This is Chris Pappas. I'm an engineer from being a childhood engineer, and became an engineer with IBM. And during my summers, I didn't take internships in engineering companies. I was a door-to-door salesman for 3 summers, and I would call on about 1,000 people each summer and did that for 3 years. And when I came back each summer, my dad and his brothers would say, "That's probably the best thing you ever did. Your engineering didn't teach you how to be a salesman." And that career experience at 18, 19, and 20 years old was I think I stepped out of my box to do that.
So for me, it was younger than that. I was baby in my family and the stupidest one. And as a founder CEO, the most important lesson that I ever learned is, what did my oldest brothers not want that was good? Because that's the only way I was going to get it. And if you can figure out what the big brother doesn't want that's good, you got a niche.
I think the hardest thing for me to learn was patience. I started out thinking you could drive everything to conclusion on a really quick basis. And you can't do that. You have to work with your people to establish your goals and then carry out those goals. And at some point, you have to say, I'm going to let those people go do that themselves. I'll follow up with them, but I'm not going to micromanage them. And for a micromanager like me, that was really tough.
Holly, you want
So
to
my husband over there.
I see my wife shaking her head back here. Yes.
My husband over there is probably wondering what in the world I'm going to say, because I think it's probably something that I'm not good at, is questioning myself, and I believe wholeheartedly in every decision that I make. And so, but obviously with building a company, scaling it to the size that we were able to, I think my solution in that was hiring a CEO that could be that question. That person that questions everyone on the team, because that's not me. So I hired it out.
Well, I think one thing that is common among everybody here is an element of humility. And so for that to be the first answer out of the back, which is I had to learn to do things like this, is because, most of the people on the stage have not naturally chosen to draw attention to themselves. As Rich said, learn to let others take the credit, and that makes us all better. So great answers. Ivan Tong, next question. No, sorry. I think I got it out of order. John Elmore.
Thank you, and congratulations to all the Hall of Fame inductees. My name is John Elmore, co-founder and managing partner for RISE Association Management Group based out of Houston, Texas. And I was also instructed to tell the award that I'm receiving later today. I'm the 2025 recipient of the now future Texan Legend Marine Corps Veteran Award. So my question for the panel, if you were starting your businesses over today in this environment, what's one thing you would do differently?
So I'll jump in here because I believe in the journey, and I believe wholeheartedly in that there's a reason for every single thing that happens. And so when I started Supergoop, my original business plan was to put sunscreen in schools and educate our youth about how important it is, just like washing your hands before lunch. And the entire idea failed because 20 years ago, sunscreen was an over-the-counter. It still is an over-the-counter drug, but it's prohibited on school campuses. And so I literally spent 2 years writing a pre-K through 5th grade curriculum to educate our youth about why they needed to wear sunscreen, and then learned as I tried to get Supergoop into the classroom, it was actually illegal. And so, some might say after 2 years of doing that, like, what the heck? And yet 20 years later, we've changed 27 states to allow sunscreen in schools on the campus without a doctor's note and without being in the nurse's station. And so I would have never had that bigger mission to do that and advocate on Capitol Hill because I was a terrible history student and I had to learn, like, how do you change the law? And I would have never gone that direction had I started out not with that journey. So I actually believe that your goods, your bads, everything that happens along the way is purposeful if you are aware of why later, and you can turn that into a positive. So, and actually, right today, I'm starting down the journey of building another brand with our son who's 17, and nothing's going to be done the same as it was 20 years ago. And so people might often say that I have this advantage, and while I have this incredible network here to lean on, I think as he starts down the journey of changing the way the world drinks water, I think everything's done differently, and so you can't say what you would do differently, and everything happens for a reason, and you just have to continue to be nimble and switch gears and do things and realize that the failures and the wins are all for a specific reason. So it's your job to figure out what that reason is.
My answer to that would be absolutely nothing. This experience has been so far beyond any expectation or aspiration that I ever had at the time. It's immeasurable. So I wouldn't change a thing.
So, I was never very good at managing people. And it turns out you need a lot of them. And I didn't know when I was young that I'm an introvert, but I am. And so I would have partnered up with an extrovert to manage the people because they do a better job of it.
I would think the biggest mistake is to not think big enough. I think when you start a business, you have some kind of confines in the way you're thinking, and I think the answer would be I've made more mistakes thinking too small than too big.
Yeah, excuse me, Amanda. I think it's sort of the same thing. There's not much that we would change. We had failures along the way and made mistakes along the way, but we learned from them and we became better people and a better company for them. So I wouldn't change a whole lot.
Gary, you want to point just one particular failure that comes to mind that, you guys learned from? Apart from the cycles in the industry, which you couldn't help.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
What's the question again?
I said, would you like to
By the way, my
share?
ADD, go ahead, say it again. What's the question?
A simple question. Give us an example of one of your failures. You may not think, just something that didn't work out the way you wanted.
Be careful, Gary.
And what it taught you.
And what?
And what it taught you.
What caused me?
Gary, I am not talking to you anymore. Okay, that's it.
All right.
Now you know what we've been through.
I know. Well, right now I think this may be one of your failures that you've learned a lot from.
He doesn't have any failures.
Well, not that he thinks.
No, I have actually too many failures. So, we've all made mistakes, Amanda. Everybody in this room has made mistakes. And so you learn from those mistakes. You don't want to repeat them. And any one specific failure, I mean, I have had so many of them, it'd be hard to name one specific failure. But I've enjoyed my career. I've had a blast. And it's been, of course, we're on the stage tonight. We'll be talking about it as well. But I feel so blessed to be here and part of all this. I mean, the four of us started at Republic National Bank of Dallas back in the 70s. The bank failed. So in part, we formed NCAP as a defensive move so we'd have a job. So you talk about a failure. That's a fairly big failure for the whole Texas economy. And oddly enough, we benefited from it because it made us go out and start our own business.
Great example. Chris, you want to add anything?
Actually, I think it's been covered well.
Well, having a bunch of introverts on the stage is really, I mean, we've had past guys who, won't name them, but some of them may have started Airbnb. And, we learned the entire world history and the history of Airbnb. I mean, we are definitely getting to this last question unless you guys open up. So, now I'm going to go to the next question. Ivan Tong.
Hello, so my name is Ivan from the University of Texas at Dallas. And so recently, I've been dealing with a lot of feelings of self-doubt and imposter syndrome. So my question for you guys is, at what point in your venture did you finally think that you were quote unquote successful? Was it like revenue or amount gained or investment? And what did that feel like?
I'm still waiting for it.
Same.
I think I agree with all the comments so far on that.
I agree also.
Okay, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me.
Honestly,
okay,
I don't know that you ever get there. You're going to be uncertain and driven, I think, throughout the process. So you need to learn to enjoy the journey and enjoy the challenge, embrace it. Because I don't even know that it's healthy to ever sit back and go, I did it.
Texan Ben Rosen once said, speaking about Dell, he said, "We relaxed once. I don't ever want to go through that again."
Rich, have you ever had any self-doubt?
Sure, I've had them all the time. I'm always amazed by these candidates for office who, when they're asked, did you describe a great mistake you made? And they pause like, well, I can't think of one. My answer to that would be, do you want the ones I made today or the ones I made yesterday? You make mistakes all the time, and I don't think you ever really feel you're successful, and never declare victory prematurely. And every time you get confident that everything's going right, you can expect the next morning to get hit over the head with a 2x4.
Amen.
If you make mistakes, make small ones and make a bunch of them, but try not to let those small mistakes turn into a real big mistake at the end of the day, because you can afford the small mistakes because you need a trial. You need to try what you haven't done, what you think might be the next neat deal to do and such. And so make sure that it's not going to bomb the whole company at the end of the day.
Well, I would add to that I've always operated under the assumption that you want to have the problems brought to you as the CEO as early as possible. The worst thing you can do, and this is follow up on Chris's comment, worst thing you can do is to have these problems fester and get out of control because the person who's working with you was afraid to bring up the mistake. So you want to get the alligator out on the table as quickly as you can and try to solve the problems. And that will oftentimes at least help the small problems provide you not to grow into big problems.
Yeah, I really think it's enjoying the problems as you go. Everything's going to be, there's going to be a problem every day. And you just have to take it in as part of the experience. And the success piece never really sinks in, at least for us. I don't think it ever did. And because it's all relative. And, so if you look back on it, it was very successful relative to what we set out to do. But in terms of any one thing changing the world in your life, it's all about the relationships you're building and your ability to overcome each individual issue as it comes up.
And I think, Amanda, we all believe in God, and I think when you puff your chest out and you start thinking you're a big deal, get ready, because he's going to slam you. So remain humble all the time.
I would say just trust your gut and your instincts, and don't ask too many people their opinions, because I think the more people in the room can get in the way of what your instincts tell you. So trust them. And if you're a true believer, creator, builder of a person, then you probably have good instincts, and so trust them.
So not surprised by these answers, because I think everybody on the stage, asked, when did you think you were successful? There would be a resounding, no, I didn't get to that point where I thought I was successful, because they don't think that way. I do want to respond to something Rich said, because in a galaxy far away, I actually worked for him once, and I went to him one day with a problem, and he looked at me. He was in a particularly foul mood that day, and he looked at me and he said, I am up to my ankles in alligators, and you want me to deal with that? I went away and solved the problem, and I guess that was the point of the lesson. Okay, next question. Ken, I'm really proud of you there. You did give one line, but you did come back. On this one, more than one line in the first answer. See the look I got. Okay. Brady Hutchinson is the next person who's asking a question.
Hi, my name is Bridie Hutchinson, and I am the owner of Bees Rolled Ice Cream, and I am the 2025 recipient of the Young Entrepreneurship Award. My question for you is, what is one habit you practice that you believe has been substantial to positioning your business for continued growth?
Did you hear that question? Okay.
We're old up here with bad hearing. If you could speak just a little louder, that would be helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
I think on average you got septuagenarians up here, so
So what we got is ice cream. You've got an ice cream company, and the question is, what is one habit you practice that you believe has been substantial, well, let's say important, to positioning your business for continued growth? So a habit that's helped you grow. Make it about business, not personal.
Showing up every day. Yeah. And, the showing up it's all about showing up. And there'll be days that aren't fun, but there'll be days, most days are fun. And even the days you show up, a little bit like showing up at events like this, or showing up where you're uncomfortable, you always benefit. And so pushing yourself through all the moments that may not feel like great moments that you're going to jump into are usually end up being your best moments.
Well, Woody Allen said that 80% of life is just showing up. And I guess that's kind of what you're saying. But I think you've got to have a drive. You have to try to make every day count. And I think you always have to keep in mind what your end objectives are. And it's very easy to get distracted and to get off on small problems that really don't matter. But I think it's just important to pay attention to what your main objective is and keep that in mind every day.
Yeah, so I'd jump in and say being grateful. And it's something that I think we built Supergoop on. And every decision we made was from a heart of being grateful. And I'm from the South. Write your thank you letters the minute something happens. And that extends to your contract manufacturers. I don't know, everybody's in different businesses, but like your retail partners, there's not I write 1,000 thank you notes a year. And I think that where that extends into building the brand of Supergoop is having people that are coming along on your journey. I mean, we're trying to stop a cancer epidemic, and 1 in 5 people will be diagnosed with skin cancer. It's 16 times bigger than breast cancer, and it's curable with a magic lotion. If you could rub a magic lotion on your breast, would you not do that if you knew you weren't going to have breast cancer? Yes, this is throughout my journey, I've learned that if you're grateful to everybody that's coming on board to support your mission, to tell their friends and family, to wear sunscreen every single day, to, it's just, it pays back in spades. And that is literally to where when I showed up every Saturday for 16 weeks of summer in Sephora and met 17 people on the floor, they were all getting a thank you note the next day. They were all, because they're the ones that are going to continue that journey when I'm not there. And it's just, and grateful for this. I mean, look at these, look at who I'm up here with. This is absolutely insane that I'm even on this stage, and I'm just so grateful. And I think that if you can build your foundation in whatever brand or business that you're building it on, in that, people will come along to help along the way.
So maybe that's a mistake I made, because I never wrote anybody a thank you note ever. Fact is, I'm about half crazy, but only about half. And first, I believe that a real key to doing really well that I try to implement all the darn time is to let myself think crazy thoughts. And generally, if everybody thinks this is the way you do it, well, it's already been done in the marketplace. So I'm trying to think up some crazy way and then link that to ways you can test it on a small scale. Because that way you don't take too big a risk. You don't bet the house on a crazy idea, but you take lots of crazy ideas and you test them in little ways. And if you can find little ways that you can test positively, then you run a bigger test, and then a bigger test, and then you roll it out. And it's that part about being half crazy, come up with crazy ideas, and test them in a way that doesn't cost you much, so that if they don't work, you don't blow the bundle on it. It's all risk control.
You know, Amanda,
Was that long enough?
I'm an O, and I thank you.
I think you used the word habit in the question, but if not,
It was.
That's the way it registered with me. But when I think about habits that have contributed to success and positive experience, I honestly kind of come back to my quiet time in the morning. Now, there's a spiritual component to that, but there's a practical component to it, and it's a time every day that I do try to set aside and say, okay, what are the priorities for the day? What are the challenges for the day? And it allows you to get a little, because I'm not an organized person, and if I don't sit down and really think through it and write something out, I'm not going to get it done. So just taking that time every day to think about priorities, objectives, people that you need to see, those kind of things, just been hugely meaningful to me.
When I look at a habit that I don't probably practice at home is I try to be a good listener at the end of the day to my people. And I don't like the word no, to use the no. A lot of times a new idea is proposed up there, and I usually don't say no. My answer to that, when I see something that really not quite there, I say, can you show me something else? And I throw it back at them to go ahead and develop something else for me and I just don't tell them, no, that's not it. Show me something else that maybe I can compare to. And that's been real helpful, over the years, because you don't want to shut them down, when they throw out these ideas. At the end of the day, you want to absorb them. And my daughter saw Chipotle when it first came out, and I thought that would never work. Raising Cane's, I actually met the guys that started it, and and I told them they needed salad on their menu, and so you in life you miss some big windows, but that wasn't what we do. That was, I said, how can somebody be successful selling wing and just at Cane's selling just chicken tenders like that? I said, how? It's not going to work. It worked in Louisiana. They're different over there, but it wasn't working in Texas. And then shortly thereafter, it just went like crazy. So a lot of times you miss some big windows, out there. And I've missed some big windows, but I'm happy with the windows that we've opened up and done.
Amanda, one of the habits I try to promote within myself, I guess, is every decision we make at NCAP, or even I make personally, I try to think about how it's going to affect others, how it'll affect my business, and then how it'll affect me. And so I try to make decisions based on how it's going to affect other people as well as myself, and how it could impact on our business. So we try to be very careful and very mindful of things we do.
Well, I've always followed, Winston Churchill said a lot of enormously funny, witty things, but he also had some serious thoughts. And one of his thoughts that came to mind to me, I've always looked at, was he once said that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the ability to carry on that really counts. And I think that sums up everything. You will have success, you'll have failure, but if you just keep carrying on and looking out at your objectives, things will probably work out all right. More than you want to hear about Winston Churchill.
Great answers, and appreciated the brevity. We've got another question here, which is actually a great question when you think about everything we're dealing with in terms of AI and in terms of how things are changing so rapidly. And for somebody like me who's a dinosaur, and I'm just talking about my age, not yours at all, I'm going to raise this next question, who is coming from Jake Newbold.
Thank you. First, congratulations again to all of you. What a wonderful, remarkable accomplishment. Just truly humbled. My name is Jake Newbold. I'm a recipient of the Douglas Fauché Veterans Texas Future Business Leader Veterans Award. I'm the president and CEO of Trident One FFL Software and founder of the Seal Legacy Foundation. So my question is, looking ahead, what emerging trend or challenges in business do you think will define the next decade? And how should future leaders like ourselves prepare for it?
We'll start.
Is that a fire alarm?
It's a how, that's the future. The future where we will be challenged by noise into certain places. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting that AI is a possible topic, but the energy, several of us up here have been just super involved with that, and I think the challenges for energy going forward, as exacerbated by the coming of age of AI, is a huge challenge for our country and for the world. So you already have an inclining demand curve across the world. Everybody wants to be, as one of our friends says, the lucky 1 billion, the unlucky 7 billion want to be just like the lucky billion. So you have already a demand curve that's all generated by those people. And then you have, in the developed world, you have AI, which is, the multiplier effect, depending upon how it turns out, is insatiable almost. So I think it's a challenge of the moment. You look up 10 years from now, none of us know what that's going to look like. Somebody was talking last night about being involved in an effort that looks at the future. And, if we all were back in 1950, how would we have forecast 2025? It's just very, very difficult. But I do think the challenge, energy is like water and air. It's necessary. And I think educating the public on the necessity of energy, it may come about by itself, by the fact that there's not enough to do all the things that they want to do with it.
So I disbelieve in the premise of the question. I believe that the relative rate of change that we have been confronting and will be confronting is less than the past. I just want to take you through that real quick. And this may be a long answer for you there, Amanda.
I will be thrilled.
So my grandfather was born in San Francisco, California, in 1875, before the American Industrial Revolution began. And before his time, people lived their lives effectively identically to the way their grandparents had forever. Maybe they migrated. Maybe there was plague. Maybe there was decimation and war. But otherwise, they lived their lives effectively identically to the way their grandparents did. By the time he died, he was my hero when I'm a little kid. And by the time he died in 1958, he could watch the President of the United States real time on a box in his living room. You follow that? He saw the telephone. He saw the airplane. He saw more rate of change than any generation before him. My father was born in 1907. He died in 2004. Lived to be 96. He saw computers and what have you, and much more total change, but the rate of change was less than what my grandfather saw. I'm born in 1950. I've seen a lot of change, and we make way too much of it, because at the end of the day, it's all about doing stuff for people, and people fundamentally don't change. My generation, so-called baby boomers and all that nonsense, my generation has seen all this absolute change, but it's nothing like, if my grandfather could have told his grandfather what he would see in his lifetime, my great-great-grandfather would have turned to my great-grandfather and said, "What are you doing to make this crazy kid have all these stupid, crazy ideas that'll never really happen?" You follow that? To end up with a great-great-grandson that's half crazy. This stuff is no different at one level than all the hoopla that happened in the 90s about how the internet was going to change everything. It changed plenty. But when you get right down to it, people are still the same, and solving people's problems is still the same. And that isn't going to change, in my opinion. That was too long an answer.
Well, coming back to AI, I think AI has, of course, in the short term, I think following up on what the NCAP people are saying, and I agree with that, it's a tremendous challenge to present enough energy to really power all these new AI data centers. And that's really more an opportunity, at least for those of us in that area of business. But I think longer term AI does pose a whole set of problems. But I'm like Ken, I think we have proven ourselves generation after generation that we're able to undertake to solve these problems, and I think we'll solve that. I don't think that AI is the doom of white-collar workers in America. I think you will still have plenty of room for innovative, intelligent people to run this world, and I don't think we're going to be run, at least in our lifetimes, by AI.
Gary?
I don't know how I can expand on all that. As my partners would tell you, I am the AI expert in NCAP. So I don't know how you expand on all that's already been said. It's complicated, and it's beyond probably anybody in this room. But it's here, and I think it's going to continue to grow, and it'll be very, very important in the future. But people are still people. They have needs and wants, and I think AI will be just part of the solution.
In the restaurant business, we saw the introduction of home delivery during COVID, like a tremendously rapid growth in what took place in the development of that technology. And so we're just want to be able to adapt to it and understand how we can use it in our benefit. And so that's going to be the challenge. And there'll be some young 20-somethings and 18-year-olds that figure it out at the end of the day. And that's what's been happening in our industry is these young people that figured out how to make our computers into handheld order devices and such like that. And it has helped us so much in the restaurant industry. So we think there's a lot of good that can come out of it for our industry at the end of the day. And we just need to be there to adapt to it.
You want me to add to that?
Yes.
I really don't have much to add. I do think the people part of the equation is critical and central, and I do think AI is going to have an impact on the workforce. We will adjust, but it's going to happen, and it's going to move people around. I can promise you, just looking at our own organization, AI is going to impact who we hire and what we want them to do, and I think that's going to happen across the economy. I probably come to a little different place than Ken. I think the pace of change is actually going to accelerate dramatically. I think we will adjust. I think people are people. I think ultimately that is the critical question. But I personally think the pace of change, the evolution of change relative to the economy, technology, and everything else is going to accelerate rather than moderate.
Now I got an idea, Rich. Here's the deal.
All right.
Next time you're up to your whatevers in alligators.
Up to my butt in alligators, right?
There you go. Next time that happens, you go to Chris and you say, Chris, why don't you take just a couple of your restaurants and test alligator tenders in them and see if they work.
We already have that. We already have that.
Do you? See, you know your business and I don't.
So you can come tomorrow.
And I don't think artificial intelligence can give you the right answer to that. I think you have to figure that out for yourself. That's the way the real world works.
Alligators sell real well. Okay.
I'll have to come try some.
It's delicious.
Tastes like chicken.
Amanda, I just have to make one comment. He's wearing a Navy SEAL trident. You talk about impressive. So, thank you.
And that's true. As a Gold Star family, we thank everybody for their service. Holly.
Well, I mean, I agree with Ken. Innovation, solving problems, these are things that are not going to change for you to make the world a better place, which is the wisdom my father always imparted with me is make the world a better place and do things differently. If it's already been done, why bother? And so I think, continuing to figure it out. And one of the things that we've always done at Supergoop is, and I've always believed in, I'm not sure what the go forward path is, but I will say that I've always believed in hiring people that have never done the job that you're hiring them to do. And so I think, when I went out looking for a head of marketing, I was, looking for somebody that was a lower level marketer. When I hired Amanda, our former CEO, she had, and when I hired her, we gave her the president title, but she had never been a president of a company. And so I think that mindset helps you kind of figure out the world, and whether that's AI, which I'm still trying to figure out, is like, whatever comes your way, things are going to change. And so if you have somebody that's not operating from a playbook, that can be really valuable to them being able to adjust and pivot and change and figure things out along the way.
Thank you. So I think we have time for one last question, and we're going to sort of do it as a lightning round, although in the beginning I was wondering, if the lightning round even meant anything to this assembled group. But one more question from Candace Jones. So what we'll do is it's a pretty specific answer, and we'll start with you, Holly, and we'll go all the way to the bottom. Sorry.
Fire it.
Gary. So we will start with last question will come in from Candace Jones.
Hi, I'm Candace Jones, and congratulations to the inductees. I am from the Key Realty Group, representing the Ben J. Rogers Award for Lamar University. And my question is, what is a lesson that took you decades to learn, but you wish you would have known sooner?
What is the lesson? Well, I can read it now. What's one lesson that took you decades to learn? Decades, that means a lot of time, Gary. But you wish you had known sooner.
So let's start with you. And then we'll work our way this way.
Well, if somebody's got a quick answer, let's go. I'll keep score who hasn't talked.
I wish we'd have gotten Gary hearing aids.
Cute, Marty.
I think he's more effective without them.
Well, I guess there's one lesson, guys, how 3 men and a partner in Dallas, can create an amazing business and do it with a sense of humor and respect for each other, and where they are still humble enough to be able to take the ribbing that naturally comes from confident relationships.
This is a really hard one because I think that, I agree with everything everyone has said about everything happening for a reason. And so it's hard to second guess and say, I wish I would have known this, because I learned all of it when it was needed, and I'm still learning. And so that's a really hard question.
That's a great answer. Every day is a new one. Chris?
I just think I can't think of something in specific. All I can think of is knowing when you made a mistake to turn it around into a real positive was outstanding. And then one of the other things that I always got into was we'd start something and we were going to go this way, and then we would, while we're halfway into it, we actually figured out that there was another way to do it, and we would stop the project and change course, and we stopped it early enough to get on board with another wave that we needed to catch.
The pivot. Rich?
I wish I had learned from the beginning to always listen to the people around you who are smarter than you. Get their ideas and pirate them if you can.
So amplifying on that just a hair, took me a long time to learn to listen more to my wife, who I always thank, Sherilyn. Oh, and she's real active in the business forever. She does
she's
IT
really
and
smart. I can
real
attest
estate
to
and
that.
all kind of other stuff. And I was profusely stubborn when I was young, unlike the unstubborn person I am now.
I'd probably say don't worry so much. It doesn't do any good, and life usually works out.
I guess my response is about, at the beginning, I thought things were values were going to be important in life and to follow. But as an older person and decades later, I know it's true.
Yeah, Amanda, I would say that what I've learned is that all things happen for a reason. Your failures as well as your successes, if you look back on your life, a failure was a building block that led to a great success. And so just stay with the program, keep praying, and keep going.
Thank you. Holly, gentlemen, really appreciated all of your answers and sharing, and notwithstanding some little things, this was a great discussion today. So please join me again. I've got to look at this teleprompter. I'm feeling like Trump up here, but he goes off script, so I'm going to look at it. So please join me once again in congratulating the class of 2025. I've got to say it, Future Texas Business Legend Award recipients. We're going to come up with an acronym. Thank you again to Bank of Texas for making this event possible, and Holly for the swag on the table as you continue to tell us all to use sunscreen, so the Supergoop unseen sunscreen on your tables. So thank you, everybody who's been here. We're going to have some housekeeping items now coming from Meredith. Been honored to be with you, honored to be the chair again this year, and look forward to tonight.
Thank you again to our inductees. That was so much fun. Okay, just a few items. Our Hall of Fame members and our inductees will see you at 5 o'clock for the rehearsal. I hope I'm not forgetting any other. I'm looking here at the teleprompter. Please stay here if you're an award recipient. We need to get some photos. And then last, really quickly, because I don't get to do this at the dinner, I don't speak then. We're hosting 1,200 people tonight. We hosted 130 last night. We are hosting 160 right now. Throughout the year, we look at close to 500 applications. We host massive outreach events that really spread our mission of the civic-minded business leader all around the state, and we do it with a really tiny team. So I'm going to recognize Patrice Bartlett for running our awards program. She worked so hard. I want to recognize Denise Senator, who runs all of our operations, handles just everything. We would be lost without her. Denise, thank you. I'd like to thank our newest team member, our head of communications, Jennifer Fernelius. Jennifer, we're so happy to have you on board. And last but not least, our events guru. We're so proud of him. He started with us full-time this year. Kyle Close. Kyle, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for being here. See you tonight.